As a therapist who's worked with a great amount of clients at this point, I've found a great challenge in working with people who say the same thing each time, right? That they don't feel like themselves anymore, that they're not anxious, depressed, they just feel drifted or gone. They think it's about burnout or screen time or something about their work, but in reality, it's something quite a bit deeper. This is the feeling of being misaligned and living somebody else's blueprint for life. When you find a way to live and a way to attune yourself toward without actually having any intrinsic meaning tied to it, it makes it so that any successes you have within that structure don't actually feel like anything inside because that desire was not within you to begin with. This is not truly caused by digital addiction or caused by any of the things we're constantly stimulated by, like YouTube, Netflix, watching TV, but it's something that your attention is completely oriented toward these things that are not you. And in truth, most of us are handed systems for acting in a certain way, right? Working within the system and being there to support the extrinsic, meaning outside yourself, to support that extrinsic system. It's not really a compass that you've come to develop on your own. It's like you're being parented and you find a way to be through what they tell you, prescribed meaning from them, but then you take that in as your own, which is fine to a certain extent. But when it comes to major life decisions and what you're trying to do with your life and actually make decisions that are financial and impactful and, really, really integral, that's when you need to pay attention to this disconnection from yourself. This problem isn't necessarily dopamine, and it's not really anything in your brain that's causing this issue, but it is this subtle alienation from self. You don't really realize what's happening as it's happening. You start to just live a certain way and take action and feel as a result of those actions, but you are not quite sure why because, well, it's your life. And this is what I like to coin digital existential drift. I know that sounds a little woo-woo or a little out there, but it's something we all deal with today where we're inundated with content and information and we take it in as our reality and our normal. It's our default reality to consume as much as possible. And the solution many people find to this is things like digital minimalism and taking it upon themselves to disconnect completely from technology and cut themselves off from everything that they feel is causing this issue, right? So they say enough is enough, shutting off my phone, shutting off my computer, turning everything off, and I'm gonna live off the grid a little bit, read some books. And while that could work for a couple days, they tend to return back to their normal life, I guess in quotes normal, which is being at the computer and dealing with technology. And that's what they consider to be their normal. So a big thing I recommend with this existential drift is that you don't need to quit your phone or really just completely disconnect from your phone or alienate yourself from any system. It's that you need to rebuild this signal within yourself and reconnect what is coming from within you, right? Without sounding too, up in the clouds, it's a very grounded approach where you need to realize, maybe even write about or journal what it is that is important to you in life. And it needs to be very guided so that you could understand what it is that speaks to you in a way. And there's many exercises and ways that you could follow to do this, without trying to sound like a self-help guru, to get back to what is actually meaningful to you. And you need to stick to those things, right? So once you write those things down, once you actually understand what they are, You need to begin building that structure and use that as a foundation to find what's actually important to you and stick to those things. Just using an example from my own life, I actually, love computing and technology and everything about it. So I'm always connected to it. I'm always at my computer, but I recognize what's important to me while I'm doing these things. So even when I'm at the computer all day, I'm making sure that the content I'm looking at or whatever I'm doing or whatever I'm creating is aligned with this internal compass that I developed. So that's something that I feel is really important for every person to develop in the digital age, to figure out how to navigate this digital existential drift that we're all feeling in some way, shape, or form. So that's actually what I do through Almost Deep. It's one-on-one work to rebuild this orientation and realign attention, reclaim your identity, these feelings that get lost in the day-to-day. I like to work with individuals to reclaim that, and it's a very custom process and it takes a lot of time. It's not a one-time thing, and it's also not something that you could go half and half in. You have to go all in with it, and it really isn't therapy or coaching. It's something in between those things, and it's a foundation to help realign yourself with this deeper meaning, whether it's for business, whether it's to, have your own startup or your entrepreneurial pursuit. To get started with these things, first you need to have this deeper alignment with yourself for them to actually be possible. So if this is something that could apply to you, feel free to book a call with me. It's a consultation call. It's completely free, and we could discuss what's going on in your life, right? And we could build this kind of custom framework for yourself, right? And this isn't really to get fixed in any way, but it's to remember who you are beneath all of this noise. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you got something out of this, and I'll see you next time.